Okay, so brief overview of history of the genetics. So basically the history is divided into the four different eras or the four different areas. Before 8060 means before 8060 there is a no idea what is mean by genetics, what is mean by gene, what is mean by all that things. Okay, so the history before 8060, in the period of 8060 to 900 1900. Okay, means in this period the scientist George Mendel actually doing work on the pea plant and put forthing the different kinds of the theories which gives idea about the genetics. Okay, so that era, then 1900 to 1944 means during this area or during this era there are another kind of the means different scientists who just put for the different theory which are very um, what we can say, which are very unique and which are very different from the theories of Mendel. Okay, means त्यांनी अशा काही थिअरीज दिल्या की ज्या ह्या मेंडेल थिअरीजला काहीतरी वेगळ्या आहेत. ओके, येस, देन आफ्टर 1944 till the present. Okay, so this is divided into the four different kinds of the area. So before 8060 means before the scientist of this George Mendel, means before he discovering anything, what would be the era of this genetics? Okay, or what kind of the scientist and what kind of the inventions was there at that time. Okay, we will see just few. Yes, so before 8060, the most notable discoveries are the way for our current understanding of the genetics, where the development of light microscopy, the elucidations of the cell theory, etc. Okay, means before 8060, there is a no word of the genetics. Okay, but some another inventions was there, like the invention of the light microscopy, then what is mean by the cell. Okay, all these things are described or invented at that time. So the cell, who coined the term cell? Robert Hooke. Okay, now you have to remember the things. Okay, you have to remember the names. Sometimes if your paper will be offline now, then the I think 8-mark question will be there. It is like match the followings or fill in the blanks. In that, the name of the scientist will be asked. Okay, once I think one time in the match of the following, no, all the 8 scientists name and all the 8 discoveries are there was there. Okay, and you just have to match the following and get the 8 mark. It was as easy. So you have to remember the name of the scientist and what is his or her discoveries. Okay, or sometimes they ask years also. Okay, so you have to remember this. Just write down it on a one paper, stick to the wall. Okay, wall of your bedroom or anywhere, so you can able to see that many times. Okay, yes, so the term cell, it is coined by the scientist Robert Hooke in the year of 1665. Then between the 1674 and 1683, there is a scientist Anton van Leeuwenhoek. He discovered the living organisms. Okay, discovered the living organisms like the protozoa and the bacteria from the rainwater. In 1833, there is a scientist Brown, Robert Brown. Okay, R.A. Brown. He discovered the nucleus of the cell. Then between 1835 to 1839, Hugo von Moll, he described the mitosis process in the nucleus. Okay, then in 1858, the scientist Rudolf Virchow, okay, he summed up the concept of the cell theory, means what is meant by the cell theory. He all sum up these things and sum up the things, and all the cells come from the pre-existing cells, means he put forth that, or he stated that all the cells are comes from the pre-existing cells. Okay, so yes, and Darwin, okay, Charles Darwin, he actually the father of evolution. Okay, he known as father of evolution, or he described the natural selection theory, then the origin of species, what is meant by species and all. Okay, he described all these things. So before 1860, so many kinds of the inventions are there. You can add up of yours. Okay, you can search and you can add before 1860 what kind of the invention was there, and you can add up in this study. Okay, yes, I just put forth, I just means assign some only, few only. Okay, you can add up more. Then in between 1860 to 1900, okay, 1900, this period is basically the period of George Mendel's work on the pea plant. Okay, and in 1866 he discovered the three different laws of that particular discoveries. So that is the main basic invention in this 1860 to 1900. Yes. Then in 1842, there is a scientist Nageli. He first noticed the chromosome. Okay, so what is meant by chromosome? It is explained by this Nageli scientist. Then the O. Hartwig, he described the fusion of sperm and egg to form the zygote. Yes. Then Fleming, he explained the new staining techniques of the chromosome, means how you can able to see that chromosome by using the different types of the stain, you can able to see. Then Boveri, Rabel, and Braden, he hypothesized that chromosomes are the individual structure with continuity from one generation to the next generation. Okay, yes. Then Waldwehr, he first used the term chromosome. Then August Weismann, he stated that inheritance is based exclusively in the nucleus. Okay. Then he predicted the occurrence of the reductional division, like the meiosis. Then Hartwig and Boveri, he described the process of meiosis in the details. Okay. You can add more discoveries under this session also by searching. Okay. Yes. Then from 1900 to 1944. Okay. Yes. There are many discoveries. Basically, there are three different biologists who are working independently, and they just rediscover the Mendel's landmark. Okay. And yes, rediscover, and they just put forth something new type of the genetics over to the people, or it is known as the modern era of the genetics, or they put forth the modern genetics during this period. What are the names of the scientists? Hugo D. Price, okay, Correns, and the Stechmarks. Okay, so these three scientists study this Mendel's law and they rediscover it. Okay. Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
Then next, Sutton in 1903, he hypothesized that the behavior of chromosome during the meiosis, means suppose meiosis is discovered by one scientist now, then it is studied by many scientists, and they discover the so many things during that. Okay. Yes. Then you can read it out. Yes, so many scientists are there. Yes, in between this area, the main important thing is that these three scientists rediscover the Mendel's landmark, okay, and he rediscovered the rules of the inheritance. Yes, and from 1944 to up till now, there are so many research. I have only cited up to the 2000. You can go for 2000 to 2021 also. Okay. Actually, this is your homework, that you have to write down the history from 2000 to 2021. Okay, means from this up to now. Okay, this is your homework, you have to write down. Yes, so up to the 2000 there are also so many discoveries. Okay, like the recombinant DNA molecules. How means the scientist Paul Berg was first of all created the first recombinant DNA molecule. Okay, then there are so many scientists who developed the enzymes which is required for the recombinant DNA, all that things. Okay, yes. Then Human Genome Project. Okay, that is also discovered in 2000. Okay, yes. So this is about the history, and note down that your homework is you have to write down the history of the genetics from, or discoveries related to the genetics from 2000 to 2021. Okay, is there any difficulty?